Okay, this is week one practice quiz, or week one quiz review. So let's go over some of the stuff that you're going to see on your quiz this week. I think it's pretty simple, but let's go over it. So problem one, we have a problem. -4 minus y. All we have to do is just figure out what this is going to equal. So it tells us that y is 14. So I just rewrite the problem. So -4 minus, because the minus is there, and then I just plug in whatever y is equal to. So 14. All right, and my answer is -14 and -4 gives me -18. And that's all you have to do for those problems. Number two. -1 is less than 1. Remember the Pac-Man, there we go. The Pac-Man eats the bigger number. So if you just did this on a number line, there's 0, there's 1, and here is -1. So -1 is less than 1, so the answer is true. All right. Number 3, absolute values. All right, on these problems I suggest or recommend that you rewrite the problem because it'll take out errors. This is a pretty simple one, but I'm going to rewrite it. Remember, absolute value means whatever's in the brackets, you're basically just taking it out and figuring out a distance from 0. So -2, it's still 2 away from 0, so I'm just going to put 2. +2 is still 2 away from 0, so that's going to be 2 also. So all I did was just pull them out of the absolute value brackets. All right, so I rewrote the problem. Now I can go ahead and solve it. So 2 over 2 is really just 1. And that's it. Let's try this one. Absolute value of -15. And then they're going to want to know, is it greater than, equal than, less than, greater than, and equal, whatever. So we have to put in one of the arrows, either less than or greater than sign. But like I said, the first thing we're going to do is rewrite the problem so it's in the simplified version or broken down version, I guess. So the absolute value of -15, it's still 15 away from 0, so it's going to be 15. And then I don't know if it's less than or equal to yet. I'm still just redoing the problem. So 3 over 15, I can go ahead and solve that, right? So 3 goes into 15 5 times. There it goes. All right, so now what we can do is just figure out, is 15 less than or greater than 5? So in this case, 15 is greater than 5, so that's your answer. So make sure you break it down first. Pull everything out, rewrite the problem, and then solve it. That way there's no mistake. All right. Numbers raised to a power. All right. -5 to the 4th power. Remember, all that is -5 times -5 times -5 times -5 times -5. I mean, in your calculator, you can just plug it in if you want, but just, oh, that's to the 4th power. I put too many. Let's get rid of these. There we go. So what it comes down to is 5 times 5 gives you, and -5 times -5 is 25. 25 times -5 is -125. And -125 times -5, we end up with 625. Positive, because it's a negative times a negative, all right? But like I said, if you just put it in your calculator, you should get the same answer. All right, we're almost finished. All right, exponents with multiple things in there. All right, so remember, here I have numbers and I have x's and y's raised to a power. So remember, when you have this, you want to make sure you break it into 2 pieces. So really what this is a 3 squared and an x squared to the second power. All right, so 3 to the second power is actually 9. X squared, now in this case, remember if you have it raised to a power, all you're doing is multiplying. So 2 times 2 is 4, so the answer is going to be x to the 4th. All right, now if you had x squared times x to the 3rd, all right, then you add, remember that, you add here. Here though, when it's raised to a power, then you multiply, okay? So if this was a 3, then it would be 2 times 3, and I would get a different answer there, but since it's raised to a power, well, if that was a 3, then it would be 6, x to the 6th power. Over here, you're just adding it, so really this is x2 plus 3, if you see something like that. You won't see that on the quiz, you'll see something more like this, but just so you remember. All right, this one right here, 3 to the negative 2 power. All right, remember the negative means flip it over, so really we're going to have 1 over 3 squared, like that. The negative tells us to flip it. All right, so now I end up with 1 over 9, because 3 times 3 is 9. That's your answer. All right. If it was the other way around, here, let's do another one. If it was 1 over 3 to the minus 2 or something like that, you would still flip it over, but now instead of it being 1 over 3, it would just be 3, well, I guess you could say over 1, but 3 squared, which is 9. All right, but you'll see something like this. All right. Over here you have FOIL. All you're doing is just solving for this. So x times x times negative 5 is negative 5x. 5 times x is positive 5x. And 5 times negative 5 is negative 25. Then we combine like terms. So x squared, negative 5 and positive 5 go away, and you're left with negative 25. And that's your answer. All right. This problem right here, what you're doing is you're breaking it into this type of format. All right. So if you look at this, this is what we ended up with here. All right. We're just doing the reverse. So what we're going to do is we're going to break this into 2 parentheses. All right. Now the first number is this. Something times something will give you this. There we go. And then the second number is this. Something times something will give you this. 2 numbers multiplied will give you this. And when they're added together, they'll give you this. All right. So what makes x squared? X and x, right? X times x is x squared. What makes 9? And then what 2 numbers multiplied make 9, and when added make 6? So 3. All right. And everything is positive, so we just leave it like that. So we can actually check this. X times x is x squared. X times 3 is 3x. 3 times x is 3x. And 3 times 3 is 9. So when we combine everything up, x squared plus 3x and 3x gives you 6x's, and we're left with a 9. So that is the same as that, which means that this is correct. All right. Last one. This is just combining like terms, all right? Now, the only hard part on this is making sure that you follow this negative sign. All right, I have this parenthesis, and there's nothing in here I can combine yet, so I just leave it alone. Over here, I have an x squared, an x, and a 4. There's nothing I can combine here, but what I need to do is I need to distribute this negative sign, because this negative sign is being multiplied by everything in these parentheses. So I have to go negative times a positive, negative times a positive, and then negative times a negative. So what I'm going to end up with is negative times that is negative 2x squared. Negative times a positive x is a negative x. And a negative times a negative gives me a positive 4. All right. Now that I got this worked out, now I can go ahead and bring all this other stuff down and then just combine everything. So 3x to the third minus 2x plus 1 minus all this. All right. So let's go ahead and combine. Here I have x to the third, so I need to look for all my x to the thirds. I don't have any, so I just bring it down. 3x to the third. Then I look for x squared, because that's the number, that's the next number in line. So that's x, so I can't use that one. Here's x squared, so I can use that. So minus 2x squared. Then I look for x's. So I have a negative x here and a negative x here. So that's negative 3x's I have. So minus 3x. And then I just look for numbers. So here I have a 1 and I have a 4. So that leaves me with positive 5. And that's all you have to do for that. Just make sure you distribute that negative. All right, if you don't distribute that negative, you're going to end up with the wrong answer over here. All right, that's pretty much it. There's going to be some graphing, plotting points. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. So if I had some points, if I told you 2, 2 and 1, 2 and negative 1, 2, I mean, you should be able to plot those. So 2, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 1, 2, negative 1, 2, so negative 1, 2. All right, and then if it says graph it, there you go. So there'll be simple stuff like that on it. So just make sure you understand plotting points and then basically connecting the dots. I think you'll probably end up with something, you know, a little more crazier where, you know, you end up with a weird shape. You probably won't have a straight line, but just plot the points accordingly and then label them. Make sure everything is labeled so they know what you're looking at. So this one is 2, 2, and this one is 1, 2, and this one is negative 1, 2. All right, if you do something like that, you should be okay. All right, good luck.